Have you ever heard of a miracle so quiet, so unassuming, that it was almost missed? Today, we're traveling back to the chilly winter of 1664, to a secluded monastery where something truly peculiar happened. It's a story not of divine intervention shouted from the heavens, but of a quiet wonder whispered in dimly lit corridors. Our tale revolves around something ordinary, a Christmas candle. But this was no ordinary candle. Picture the scene: stone walls, the scent of old books and incense hanging in the air, and a profound silence broken only by the shuffling of robes and the murmur of prayers. As Christmas approached, the monks prepared for their vigils. The air was crisp with the promise of snow. A special beeswax candle, crafted for the Christmas Eve service, was placed in its holder. It was expected to burn through the night, a silent, flickering companion to their devotions, and then be gone by morning. As the first evening of Christmas Eve settled in, the candle was lit. Its flame cast a warm, gentle glow across the faces of the monks, their heads bowed in prayer. The hours passed, the chants rose and fell, and the night deepened. When dawn broke on Christmas Day, the monks were surprised. The candle, which should have been a mere puddle of wax, was still burning. It had barely shrunk. It stood tall, its flame steady and unwavering, as if time had forgotten it. This was odd. Monks, being men of routine and observation, took note. Brother Thomas, the monastery's chronicler, dipped his quill in ink and made a small entry in their leather-bound record book. He described the candle's unusual longevity, speculating with a scholarly curiosity. Was the wick too thin? Had the chandler used a new, denser type of beeswax? Perhaps, he mused, the candle had simply been rolled too tightly, making it burn at a snail's pace. There was no immediate cry of miracle, just a collective, quiet puzzlement. Christmas Day came and went. The monks went about their duties, but their eyes kept drifting back to the candle. It was still there, a tiny, persistent star in the daylight. As evening fell again, its flame seemed to regain its prominence, casting long, dancing shadows. It had now burned for a full 24 hours and showed no signs of giving up. The faint, sweet scent of beeswax was ever present, a comforting aroma with no hint of smoke or anything unusual. Now, a quiet buzz began to ripple through the monastery. Over their modest evening meal and cups of weak, warm tea, the monks discussed it. It wasn't a topic of fervent debate, but of gentle wonder. Brother Michael, an elderly monk with a twinkle in his eye, suggested it was a small sign of God's favor, a quiet blessing for their devotion. Brother John, ever the pragmatist, was still convinced it was a matter of density and composition. The discussion was less about proving a point and more about sharing a collective experience, a small break from the predictable rhythm of their lives. The second night passed just like the first. The candle burned on. On the morning of the third day, it was still alight. It was now noticeably smaller, but its endurance was nothing short of remarkable. A candle meant for one night had illuminated their monastery for nearly 3. It had become a humble spectacle. No angels appeared, no voices boomed from the heavens. It was just a candle doing its job incredibly, improbably well. This quiet event became a sort of local legend within the monastery walls. It was a humble miracle. Its power wasn't in its grandeur, but in its subtlety. It didn't inspire awe in the way a bolt of lightning might. Instead, it sparked conversation, curiosity, and a gentle sense of wonder. It reminded the monks that even in a life dedicated to routine and discipline, the world could still present small, delightful surprises. It gave them a story to tell, a shared memory that bound them closer together. Think about it. In a world where we often look for big, loud signs of the extraordinary, perhaps the real magic lies in these quiet moments. The moments that don't demand our attention but gently invite it. The candle didn't change the world. It didn't bring fame or fortune to the monastery. But for a few days in the winter of 1664, it brought a little light, a little mystery, and a lot of conversation to a small community of monks. The chronicle entry ends with a simple observation. On the evening of the third day, the flame finally flickered its last and died out, leaving behind a small hardened pool of wax. The show was over. The monks returned to their usual routines, but the story of the candle that burned too slowly was passed down. It became a reminder that not all miracles are meant to be earth-shattering. Some are just meant to give us something to talk about over tea, a small, warm glow in the long, cold winter. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many of these quiet miracles do we miss in our own lives because we're waiting for something bigger? A flower that blooms out of season, a chance encounter that feels like fate, a moment of unexpected peace. The story of the monastery candle is a beautiful lesson in paying attention to the small wonders. It teaches us that sometimes the most profound events are the ones that whisper instead of shout. They don't seek to overwhelm us, but simply to add a touch of unexpected light to our day. Maybe the monks were right. Maybe it was just a tightly rolled candle. Or maybe, just maybe, it was a small wink from the universe, a quiet reminder that there's always room for a little bit of magic, even in the most ordinary of things. What do you think? Was it a simple fluke of physics or a humble miracle? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for joining me on this journey back in time. If you enjoy stories that explore the quiet corners of history and the little mysteries of life, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more. It really helps the channel grow. Until next time, keep your eyes open for the small wonders. You never know what you might find.